Dr. Carley, where are you from originally?
I grew up in Chicago suburbs, moved to Florida, lived near Tampa, did my residency there, 4 years in practice, decided to find a new opportunity. I knew I wanted to be in my own practice, develop my own practice, and I looked around, found the best place I thought to live in the country was here in Cleveland County, North Carolina. So I approached the hospital, talked to them, went through the process, and they assisted me with starting my own practice here about 3.5 years ago. And over the last year, we've grown so much that I've realized I need help, and Dr. Bouttamy is available, and he lives in Kings Mountain as I do, and is a perfect fit for our practice.
Now, you said here you are in Chicago, and you decided Cleveland County is the great place.
Yeah.
How did you come to that conclusion?
I think people who live in Cleveland County or even in this area of North Carolina don't understand why other people would find this area attractive, maybe. But the basic idea is for people who are from different parts of the country is they'll know when they get here. The people are very friendly. The cost of living is very reasonable compared to other areas of the country, particularly Chicago or Florida. The malpractice environment is certainly better than other areas of the country, and it has more to do with the people that are here than any particular law or anything that would protect us as they might have in some other states. The climate is great. My favorite climate in the United States is southern to central California, but the cost of living there, the crowds, and just the medical environment there are not as good as they are here. So hands down, this is probably the best area in the country to practice for those reasons.
I'm really from Ohio, and family grew up near Toledo, which is northwest Ohio. And if anybody's ever lived up north before, even near the Great Lakes, they know that it's very cold there. Very gray, that was the main thing. I mean, even during the summers it was gray, you barely saw the sun. So I had a friend down here near Charlotte who I visited, and we would always joke around that, you need to come down here after you're done with the residency. And so came down, and after I got done with residency, I was like, well, why not? And so came down here, and Dr. Carley's absolutely right. I mean, the people here are just great. I mean, you just walk down the street and they'll say hi to you, and it's just a great place to be, and the weather is just fantastic here.
One of the specific things, or some of the specific things that we like about this area of North Carolina is we're not on the beach. We're not going to have to evacuate in case of a hurricane, but it's very easy to go to the beach from here and take a weekend, take 3-4 days at the beach, and then get back to safety, I guess. Living in Florida, having to pack up stuff, or at least worry about packing up stuff, particularly when you have small kids like I do, having to deal with that really is a hassle. And for as many times as you go to the beach, even when you live in Florida, I go more now than I did at that time. The mountains are close. I enjoy hiking, biking, fishing, and those things are plentiful here. Kings Mountain borders a state park, which borders a national park, and I'm involved in certain projects that are helping connect up the city to those areas, bike trails and hiking trails. The schools here are very good. I think the high school was ranked in the top in the U.S. News and World Report. Hopefully that's accurate.
I think it is.
Yeah. My son is in kindergarten. He attends a public school here locally. My daughter's in preschool. She goes to preschool in Shelby. There's a lot of, this area is focused on kids a lot more than Florida and parts of Chicago. So those are the main issues that really will drive a family to come here to Cleveland County, Kings Mountain.
along with that, I mean, he's absolutely right as far as family. I mean, if you have kids, this is a great place to be, because some examples are, there's a kids census in Rutherfordton, and that's like 30-40 minutes away. That's like a kids museum. You can just literally just let them go, and they'll run around, play with stuff. That's just very unique too, as far as a kids museum. And then there's another place in Charlotte called, Discovery Place, which also has an IMAX. That's a great place for kids to go, and even for adults and teenagers. So I think there are a lot of things where if you come here as a family, I mean, it's a great place to be, as far as there are options during the weekend that you could do with your kids, which are very fun and very cheap too.
I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, about 30 miles outside the city. This area is similar to that. We're about 30 minutes to downtown Charlotte, about 20 minutes to the airport or so from my office here. Parts of Cleveland County are a little bit further, but the highway is going to be expanded through Cleveland County very shortly in the next few years, so that'll cut down on their travel times from the opposite end of the county. But the closeness to Charlotte is one of the reasons I picked to move here. We're close to a big airport and a big city, so all the things that I enjoyed in Chicago, I have most of those things here. And then if there's something that I really needed to do, it's 30 minutes to the airport, and then an hour, 2-hour flight to Chicago, and then I can do anything I want there pretty easily.
Yeah, if you like theater and arts, I mean, my wife and I look at Ticketmaster.com all the time, and there are off-Broadway shows. There's Broadway shows. We've seen Cats down in Charlotte, which really is just 30 minutes away from here, so it's very easy to get to. And from a family practice standpoint of view, I mean, I've always loved working in community hospitals, but being able to know that you are able to just pick up a phone if you need some help, they can easily come up here and get the patient and get them down there very quickly. So that feels good.
In this area, we have probably a shortage of primary care providers. And as a result, there's some shortage of specialists. But being so close to Charlotte, I don't think we really have an issue with access, as long as the patients are willing to go to see the consultant. This practice, we're thorough family physicians. We'll sit down with our patients. If they have a problem, we're going to work it up, try and treat it appropriately, and then refer what is appropriate and what doesn't get better. We're not the type of practice that's just going to immediately refer a patient without doing any workup or at least an initial treatment when appropriate. And so for that type of a practice, this is a great area, because patients need that, and they're appreciative of that. And certainly you can do well if you practice that type of practice. We see our patients in the hospital, unlike a lot of other family physicians, and at least that's the growing trend, is less hospital work for family physicians, more just strict office based. But we like to take care of our patients. We're thorough with our patients. We're going to call you back if you call us if you have an issue. We're going to try and take care of it. We're personable. We try and get to know our patients. We spend time with them when we can, and that's what kind of makes us different from other family physicians or other types of practices. In this area, you have several different independent family physicians, and we all cross cover at the hospital, which makes it good and a good lifestyle for the weekends, where we will cross cover at the hospital. I would say that the hospitals are able to provide more than I thought that would be available. At Kings Mountain, they have a brand new operative suite, which is great. We need more surgeons to operate there, but we have a great operative suite. They're continuing to make improvements in terms of the facilities of the hospital. There's going to be an ICU renovation coming. I think that all that will help. Shelby's hospital is pretty much state-of-the-art. They have pretty much all the services that you could need in Shelby.
I don't think really there's anything lacking here. If there's something that there is, it's easy to get to. Like I said, you're close to Charlotte, you're close to things that you need, I think you'll get.
We're not just here to take care of a few patients and then get out of the county in a couple years. We're going to be here for a long time. We've established roots here, and we'd like our kids to continue to live and grow up here.
This is home.
Right.
Yep, this is home. And and we take a holistic approach. I don't know if a lot of people know what that means, but we're both DOs, which we're osteopathic doctors, and that's how we're trained. We take the holistic approach to the patient, and I think that's our training leads us to be compassionate, and most of us go into primary care.